Hey guys, welcome to the PitMaster Secrets podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to find a meat supplier. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to the PitMaster Secrets podcast. I'm excited to be doing these again. And today I want to talk about how to find a meat supplier. So when I say that, I mean, yeah, we can all just go to the grocery store and buy meat, but sometimes quantity and price can be unreliable. You might go this week and they might have a sale on pork loins and have 2 of them in the case, because they ran out. And, it might be cheap, but let's say that I wanted to cook a bunch of pork loins. How do I go about finding a bunch of pork loins, and finding a good price from them things? So when I say meat supplier, we're going to be talking about a higher volume more regularly. So it could be like, let's say you're catering, for instance, and you're wanting to start doing pulled pork and brisket, maybe alternating, maybe doing a little bit of each time. So you're going to get a better price by the case, which a case of pork butts is going to be, depending on who you get it from, is going to be 8 butts. A case of briskets is going to be typically 5, depending on what grade you're buying. So if you're buying like choice or something like that, you're probably going to get 5 briskets. So whereas if you buy Wagyu, there might only be 2 in a case, just because they're Wagyu. So how do I identify who in my area could be a reliable, affordable supplier? So we're going to start off with the relationship. Basically, you got to get to know somebody. So go in and start asking a few questions. Some of them will ask you to get some kind of an account set up with them. They might hand you a application form, like if you go to Cisco or US Foods or somebody like that, they're going to hand you a credit app and an account application form. Well, you're going to have to do quite a bit of meat, to buy to make that worth it, right? If you go like to a local, USDA inspected, let's say that, a USDA inspected meat supplier, what that means is that they can kill meat, they can kill animals, and they can sell to the public meat that they processed. Otherwise, if they're not USDA inspected, they cannot sell to the public. They can only process for a specific customer that you brought your own meat in. If they maintain that USDA certification, they have inspectors come in when they do the kill, and the inspectors actually grade the beef and tell them what it is and stuff like that. If it's prime, choice, select, and they inspect the whole process. They keep the producers accountable for that. So that's going to be a little more expensive, that meat is. However, if you buy a cow and you have it processed by some kind of a meat processor, processing plant, something like that, you're going to have to buy the whole cow, and you're going to have waste. Last time Tom and I threw down on a cow together, we decided to go outside the box and have the whole thing. We just wanted the steaks, like ribeyes, strips, and that kind of thing, like some fillets. Everything else on the whole cow, brisket, all of it gets ground up into chuck. Man, that's some good ground beef, but it's expensive because you have a lot of waste. The butchers aren't going to sit there and scrape every bone for you. You're going to have they're going to cut up the best they can. You're going to have some bone weight that goes out, so you'll probably have like 40 or 50% yield, of waste on that animal. So depending on what you paid for it and the processing and everything like that, who wants to do that for selling, like catering gigs and stuff? So anyway, my favorite supplier for the public is going to be Sam's Club, because you can walk in there and they have cases of meat. You can be a little bit choosy when you buy by the case. Like you can go, they'll usually bring out a couple cases for you, the butcher will, or the guy in the back, and you can kind of pick through them, whatever. And you're going to get a pretty regular price. You're not going to get like a huge discount, but it'll be cheaper than buying it, by the pound, one at a time. My second favorite is if you have a meat market in your local grocery store, and there is a guy that's like the manager of the meat department that you can talk to. You can develop a relationship with that guy and usually get a pretty good price. The last time I was doing it, I would have a whole case of pork butts. They would grind them for me, and they would add pork, like if I wanted to make sausage. And I would walk out of there with about a 70-30 or a 60-40, meat to fat ratio, which is what I like for sausage. I wouldn't have to do any grinding myself. It made it really easy. I'd walk out of there with about 90 or so pounds of pork, and sometimes a little more. And I could make 25 pounds of one thing and split the rest of it up into little batches, and that worked out really good for me. So it's really good to have a connection like that with your local grocery store. The other thing you can do, the third thing on my list, is if you're going to start catering and you're looking for like maybe a few 100 pounds a month. Let's say you're not wanting to get a lot going, but you never know, you might get a large order. So you can actually get set up with somebody like Cisco or US Foods. A lot of times will have what they call a pick and pull, where you can go in, you can order ahead. You actually have a wholesale account, but you can go in there and order smaller quantity, like 2 cases of pork and a case of brisket, let's say. You can go in there and pick that up once a month, something like that. You pay cash at the register, but you still kind of get this hybrid sort of a wholesale price. And then the most volume, like my fourth one on the list, is going to wind up being actually getting an account with Cisco, US Foods, somebody like that. I like that for doing like regular cooks. If you're going to do closer to 1,000 pounds a month or more, this might be the best way. You're going to go ahead and fill out a credit app or something like that if you want them to bill you. If you don't want to pay tax and you're set up with your county /state to get out with your tax-free status, you're actually going to give them a tax number and stuff like that, and you're going to be able to buy that meat at a better wholesale rate. You can set up to like pay like COD with some meat suppliers to where you don't have to have an open account with them. That's actually my preferred method, because I hate having to remember to pay some vendor, 30 days within 30 days. I would rather just pay and be done. You won't really be able to use a credit card every time in this situation. They're going to want to check just because they don't want to pay the credit card fees, let's say. And then of course, the more volume you do, you can kind of keep climbing that ladder. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or anything about it, hit me in the comments on YouTube here, or you can comment on my Instagram or something like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Leave us a review on this podcast, and let us know what else you want us to talk about, and we'll go from there. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.